Hey guys, here remember the season of Baskets. Yes, I finally finished Baskets. Of course, this is for season one, and you guys remember that I really love the series premiere. It really surprised me. It really came out of nowhere, and I was hoping that the show would be as great as that premiere was, but I was worried because of how great it was and also how weird it was because it seemed like the kind of show that could get weird and weird as it went on. And if you guys know me, when something gets weird for no reason, I just stop watching. And it's a show that I tried to stay consistent with and didn't because there were just other things on or I was tired of things like that. But I finally caught up and I finished. I just watched the finale, and overall, this was an amazing first season. I loved this first season. It was both depressing, also very hopeful, but also I think very inspiring. There was a lot to this season that I really did love. I'm gonna talk about everything that happened this season that I really enjoyed and the things that I didn't enjoy because there really wasn't anything I didn't enjoy this season. I'm gonna say it right off the bat. There was nothing I didn't enjoy. There was nothing that I thought, oh, that was stupid. There was nothing really like that. This was a pretty near perfect season, definitely. I really loved this season. I thought this was a very strong first season, and I'm definitely interested in seeing where the second season goes. And by the way, first of all, if anyone tells you the show is a comedy, this show is not a comedy at all. This is a half-hour drama, without a doubt. It basically is like Wilfred. Like, there's moments of comedy, but it's definitely more of a drama, even more so than Wilfred. I mean, there were moments I laughed, but there were a lot more moments where I felt emotion. And let's just get into it, because there's a lot to talk about here that I really did enjoy. First of all, let's talk about our two central stories going on, because our biggest story, I think, has to do with Chip and Penelope. That's our big story. The other one being Chip and Dale, the comparisons between these two brothers. And I want to first compare Chip and Dale because the way that the pilot, showed is that Chip is the less successful one. He is the down his luck one. He has a big heart and big dreams, but no one else really believes in him. Everyone thinks it's really dumb, and no one really thinks he should be this clown, while Dale is a more successful one. He has commercials on TV, he has a family, and he is, basically grown up and actually done something with his life. But we didn't really get to see Dale, but except for that first episode, and we could see right away that Chip and Dale did not really like each other and they didn't get along. That's also because Dale's a very unlikable character. I mean, Zach Galifianakis obviously does a great job, but something he did a great job with is showing, I think, the pure villain that Dale is. I mean, if I had to pick a villain of the season, it's Dale without a doubt. Without a doubt, Dale is the villain of this season. I mean, just the way he brings Chip down, the way that he constantly is making Chip feel like shit. I mean, he really did a great job of making Dale as mean and I think as, just dickish as possible. Really, Dale is a very bad guy. He doesn't like his family. He doesn't want to be a family man. He doesn't even want. There was an episode where he literally gives Chip his children to babysit because he doesn't want to deal with them. And his daughters are going through a lot of shit that he doesn't know about, and you really see that Chip helps them out. And Chip is just the nicer guy. Dale is just, I don't really know how to describe him. He's just very dickish, and he's not really nice to anyone. He's very quick to approach things, and just, he's very, I don't want to say menacing, because that's not the word, but he's very, not evil. I'm trying to think what the word is really to sum it up, but he's very douchey. That's the word. He's very douchey. He thinks that he's better, and he does whatever he can to insult Chip, and I loved that contrast between these two because it shows here's why we should be rooting for Chip. The show never said we can't root for Chip. Chip has big ideas, definitely. He has very big dreams, but Dale is the one that crushes those dreams. He is the one that brings Chip down. You can tell. But I think the real person that brings Chip down, I mean, everyone really brings Chip down in some way, but the real heartbreaking story is between Chip and Penelope, because we knew Penelope in the first episode did not like Chip. She did not like Chip. She only married him for her green card, and so she could settle down. And even though they were married, she really didn't want anything to do with him. You could tell she didn't really love him, which is really sad, but I think Penelope became one of the best characters in the show without a doubt, because first of all, when Christine is first introduced to Penelope, she feels that these two are married and that things are going great for each other, but then when Christine actually is alone with Penelope, Penelope reveals really how she feels about Chip, and you can see this really angers Christine, because Christine really thought that Chip had finally settled down and found a woman, and she was happy for Chip, but then when she finds out that Penelope doesn't love him, and that Chip is basically, he's trapped in this reality. He's trapped in this, world where Penelope is in love with him, and they have this very successful life and everything, which he clearly does not have. Christine just rages her, and it really shows how great Louis Anderson was. I mean, you never didn't believe that Christine was a woman, and I think Louis Anderson did that perfectly. It showed that you don't necessarily need to cast a woman to have a great female character, and that's the perfect thing. That's exactly what I have to say about Christine Baskett. She was a great character. She's very defensive, and she'll do anything to protect Chip, definitely. I love the way that was done. She basically tells Penelope, I want you gone, just leave. She tells her to leave, and at first Chip thinks that she's left because before he was talking about starting a family and how he wants to settle down and he wants to have kids, and he thought that he scared her off. But then he finds out that Christine was the one that sent her away, literally gave her a ticket, and not only she agreed, but her parents told her to leave as well, and obviously Chip is enraged. He's very upset, and he wants to find Christine immediately, and I love the way that that relation was done between them. But by far, my favorite episode this season has to be the one we find out how Chip and Penelope meet, because it's a very melancholy episode, but it really shows the real relation between Chip and Penelope, because it wasn't all sad. There were some tender moments between these two. I think Penelope genuinely cares about Chip. I don't think she's a bad girl by any means. She just doesn't love him, and that's the thing. She doesn't have the love for him. She doesn't see a future with them together. I think she cares about him. I think she sees that he is kind of lonely, and she wants to help him out with that. But deep down, she does not love him, and the only reason she married him so she could live in America. And that wasn't, I don't really think she thought about what that was really going to do. And basically what happened is that Chip was living a great life. When he was in clown school, things were successful for him, and everyone really enjoyed him, actually. He was actually a fun guy. But then Penelope kind of ruined things for me, because at first he saw Penelope and thought she was this amazing singer, and just instantly seemed to fall in love with her. That's really what was going on, and you think Penelope cares about him as well, but then you realize the only reason that she was performing is because her father is this hugely successful talent agent and things like that, and that's why she's so successful. And this kind of breaks Chip a bit. The one thing he cared about in Penelope, and the one thing he admired about her, she doesn't really have, and she's not really as successful as he wants her to be. And it's a good contrast between the way these two are. They have this great scene with a picnic where you can see that even though Christine doesn't really, even though Penelope doesn't really love him, she still tries to be there for him. It's a good scene, and especially when you go back to the present and you realize that Chip is kind of just living in this fantasy. He wants him and Penelope to have a future, which they ultimately don't have, and I really did feel bad for Chip in this situation, but he needed to look realistically, and he wasn't thinking realistically, and you understood that, and I like the way this was done between Chip and Penelope. Really great stuff between them, and the actress, especially Sabina, Skyupa, even though she does have a very thick accent, it is hard to tell what she's saying at times. You feel she really does care about him, and I really think she portrayed Penelope not as a villain, but as just a woman who cares about this guy but doesn't love him the way that he loves her, and it's a perfect example of unrequited love. I love the way that was done. Really good stuff with her character, and especially one of the most central relationships of this season. I love the way they handled Chip and Penelope. By far, one of my favorite parts of this entire season. I love the way that was handled. Christine, as well, we realized, though, has kept a lot of things from Chip, because we eventually find out that not only was Christine keeping the fact that she's a diabetic and she has problems, and she's trying to fix them, but it's clear she hasn't really fixed them. The main reason that Chip actually became a clown is because he didn't want to face the reality of what happened to his father. Because in his mind, his father, basically just left and then died. That's what he thinks happened. But then Dale reveals that his father actually committed suicide, and basically he committed suicide. He jumped in front of this truck, and this kind of breaks Chip, because the one thing he's wanted to become this clown, now he's realizing that he didn't get to see this. He ran away. He didn't face the reality of the situation, and that's why Christine has kept this from Chip. She hasn't told him what's going on. It's this really big moment. He's realizing that his father just ran away, and that Chip kind of is doing the same thing. And I think Chip finally realizes in this moment he can't just keep running away, because his father did that, and of course he died. And Chip doesn't want to die, obviously. He wants things to go right. And you see throughout the season that he does try to be a good clown. It's just no one really finds him funny. That's the thing. He's not funny, and he's not really funny. That's the problem with Chip, is that he's a funny guy, but he's not really a funny clown. He always seems sad or angry, and he's never really happy. And even though he tries to appeal more, there was an episode, like episode 2, where he tries to appeal more to the kids and everything, and to the people, to the audience, and it does not work at all. It does not work, because he has something to do for Christine, and that completely ruins it. And you see throughout the season, Eddie really sees that he's trying, and that's the thing. Eddie, the owner and manager who promote him to the rodeo and everything, he sees that Chip really does want to do a good job, and that Chip really does want to be this great clown, and that's why he promotes him to head clown. But you also start to see that this Buckaroo Rodeo is not very popular. It's very run down, and the reason that Chip is head clown is because he's really the only one that gives a shit. That's really why he's there. Chip tried to train this other trainee at the rodeo, and they just didn't care. That was the problem. They didn't care, and it was really sad to see, definitely, but I like the way that was done, because again, it showed that Chip was not going to give up. Even though he knew, again, his dreams are kind of unrealistic, he was not going to give up. I love the way that was handled, and amazing stuff there. And I did like some of the stuff we found out with Eddie, that Eddie basically, there's this great episode where Eddie takes Chip and Martha out, and we get some good insight with what's going on there. And also, let's talk about Martha, because I really like Martha's character. She's the definition of low-key. I mean, she'll say everything in the same monotone voice, but again, you feel for her character. You understand what she's going through. You understand that she cares about Chip, and she really is the only person that will defend Chip. And I mean, Christine does as well, but she's his mother, and you also kind of get the sense that Christine is kind of resents Chip because he ran away, so there's that as well. But Martha really is the one person that will defend Chip and will stick by him, and that's something I really like about her character. She's a good character. She always wants to do right, and you really see her as the truly, I think, clean character of the show. Like, she's the one character that always tries to do right, always feels bad in situations, and I love the way that was done. She really did a great job, and I really did like her character. And while they didn't necessarily do anything big with Martha, they didn't really need to. I mean, most of the show is supposed to be in Chip's perspective, and they really kept it that way, and I definitely really did enjoy that, and I thought that was very well handled. Definitely really great stuff with Martha here. Like I said, nothing outright amazing, but I really love the actors. I think she did a great job on this show, and I definitely can't wait to see what they do with their next season. But let's talk about some of the other stuff I liked here. Like I said with Christine, I mean, you get the sense that Christine, while she does care about Chip, she has these other two twins that she kind of favors more. And these twins were okay. I will say my least favorite of the season involves them, but they were okay. Nothing much to say about them, really. I thought they were fine. But let's get to the finale, because I really do want to talk about the finale. There's a lot that happens in the finale that I really do want to get into, and especially the direction I think we're headed next season, because there were some great moments here. First of all, of course, we know that Christine has a health scare. I did not think they were going to kill her off. I'm like, there is no way they're killing off Christine. Louis Anderson is too good. There's no way they're just going to kill her off like that. And I'm happy that she lived. I thought that was really great. And I like that she's trying to turn things around and try to make things better for her and stop dwelling on what happened and try to move forward. We see her at a photo shoot. We see her with a trainer. And there's some really funny scenes. I mean, you really get the sense that Dale is very stupid. He's very stupid, and you definitely get the sense of that here. This is kind of, and we knew that before. I mean, you could see that he really didn't know how to help out his daughters because he just didn't care, and he has problems with his wife, obviously. And in this episode, he literally cheats on his wife with Martha. Martha knows it's wrong, but she can't resist, and because there's no other man that seems to like Martha or even care about her, so she decides to have sex with Dale, and she does tell Chip, and of course Chip didn't know. And this is really the thing that breaks Chip. I mean, you see he got this job at Arby's, but even in the beginning of the episode when Penelope says, don't be sad, you're not that kind of clue, and of course she says clue because of her thick accent, it's a very effective scene. She's basically saying, just give up on me. And she's not saying give up because I don't love you. She's saying give up because we're never going to work. Maybe we'll be friends. Maybe we'll be friends. Maybe we can get close in that way, but stop dwelling on something that's not going to happen. You need to move forward. You need to focus on what is and not what you want, because that's clear that's what Chip has been doing. He's focused a lot on what he wants to happen rather than what should happen, and that's the thing with Penelope. She really wants him to know you need to focus on what matters and what doesn't, and I like seeing that. I thought it was a good way to get her to go. And I don't know if this is the exact send-off to Penelope. I think we will see her again try to be like a friend to Chip, but I really loved her character, and I love the way it scene was done, because this kind of gets Chip to finally wake up in this episode. He finally wakes up here, and it's in that scene with Dale when he's at Arby's, and Dale is telling him, I'm moving in with Mom, and that he now has lost his kids and everything, and he's lost his family. His wife doesn't trust him anymore because of what he did. And now he's going to be in Chip's position. The thing that he ridiculed him for, that Chip is realizing he can turn things around. And what he does, he bolts out of his job. He sees the train that his father ran into, the train tracks his father ran into when he committed suicide, and he decides to move forward. He doesn't know where the train is going. That's the thing I like, is that he doesn't know where this train is headed. He doesn't know where his life is going to take him, but he does know that this is his way of turning things around. He gets away from the house, he gets away from the life he's built, and he now tries to turn things around. I do think season 2 is going to be a lot more hopeful. It's going to be more of Chip trying to turn his life around and less on him dwelling on things that aren't going to happen. And I mean, pretty much he's lost everything. I mean, he no longer is in the Buckaroo Rodeo because that closed down. But I like what Eddie said, that either way, he's going to be a clown and he's going to get to pursue his dreams. And Eddie really, again, he believed in him. And I think Chip, just everything he's heard. Because what I love about that one scene in the art in Arby's is that Chip really listens to everything everyone's told him. Like Martha saying, are you upset because of what happened between me and Dale? Or when Penelope said you're not that kind of clown, or when Eddie said you still have a future here. He's really thinking about all those things. He's thinking about what matters, and he goes to that train to basically turn his life around. Basically, I think he's gonna live off the grid. I'm pretty sure that's what Chip is gonna do. He's gonna try to turn his life around. I can't wait to see how that happens. But that's pretty much how we end season 2, in a much more hopeful direction, which is not normal for the show, but I think they did very well, and I definitely really love that. And that's basically how the season ends. So overall, guys, I love this season. Even though it was very depressing, which it really was, depressing TV, it still was very enthralling because you really rooted for Chip and you cared about his character and you really wanted him to wake up and have things go well for him. But things just never really went well for him. Even though he wanted things to go well, they didn't. And he still is a good guy, though. Like, there's an episode where he literally drops everything to help out Martha because he thinks there's a coyote in her house, and it turns out that she has a pet. I believe she has a pet coyote or something like that. I don't really remember, but she has like very unusual pets, and then nothing's really wrong with her, which is very interesting. I like the way that episode was done because it kind of showed Martha's home life a bit, which I thought was well done. If I had to pick one character that I don't think had enough, it is Martha. I do think Martha should have a little bit more to do, and that's really my only complaint this season, that Martha didn't really do too much. Like, she did that whole thing with Dale, but besides her and Chip just being friends, we didn't really get a whole lot with her character, and I kind of want to see more. I kind of want to see Martha get out of that low-key attitude, kind of see her actually have something that breaks her down, and I'm sure we will next season, but because, next season they have more time focused on the characters, and I get that this season was kind of a prologue. It kind of was. It's a prologue to what the show can be. It's showing that you can't dwell on things, and again, I think this is a very inspiring show. It's a show that, yes, it's not for everyone. It definitely is a very slow-paced show. I know there are people that gave up on the show, but I'm very happy the show got renewed for a second season because of how different it is. It's a different kind of show. It's a very inspiring show, and it's a very uplifting show. It's a show that, even though, like I said, is kind of depressing, I always left like, I can't wait for the next episode. I can't wait to see what happens here because I cared about these characters. They really got us care about these characters. They showed why they were important, and they showed why this story, while done before, is original. Just the way it was told, it hasn't been done that way, and they definitely handled that really well. I absolutely love the season of Baskets. I can't wait for next season. And like I said, it was a funny show. There were moments where I definitely laughed. I cried a lot. I definitely teared up or got emotional more than I laughed. But I think the comedy was still there. This is Zach Galifianakis. He did a great job. He showed that he still has it. I know a lot of people are saying Zach Galifianakis doesn't really have anymore, but I think the show that he really is capable of. I love the way this was done, and he didn't care what show he made. Like, he stuck to the show he wanted to make. He didn't know if the show had an audience, but he just wanted to try it out, just like Chip with, not knowing if it was going to work, but still wanting to try it out. I love seeing that. Let me know what you guys saw this season of Baskets. Love to hear your thoughts on it. I can't wait for next season. I will see you guys in my next video, which will be for Vinyl. Yes, I am still watching Vinyl. My next few videos will be catch-up videos. I'm going to catch up on 3 episodes of Vinyl, 3 episodes of American Crime Story, and then 3 episodes of Underground, and then 4 episodes of Supergirl on Monday, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.